You're like, what? I didn't know I was getting into this. Thank you.
I'm going to start Leland with Leonard Nimoy, In Search of Bigfoot. It's about 20 seconds when I hit the music bump.
Yep, perfect.
We'll know what time to go.
Yeah, just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to roll.
Okay, I'm going to go a little lower. That should help. It's totally live, folks. You're getting the microphone in here, so I can't do this one-handed. Darn it.
All right. You okay over there, Bigfoot?
Bigfoot's quiet. Bigfoot's quiet.
So wait, hey, where are we gonna fit Squatch's intro music in after all this? First time we hear his voice, or how are we gonna do that?
I'll do it coming out of Leonard Nimoy.
I like it. That's why you're the producer extraordinaire.
So once you hear his intro music, you'll know time to go.
Yep, perfect.
I think we're going to be lopsided, but I think we're going to get in. We are going to be lopsided. How do I fix this? Oh my gosh. I can do it with the other one that you say you have trouble with. Maybe you've jinxed me, man.
Is that what it is?
I think
Maybe
I got.
this is the studio that's haunted.
It's the haunt. That's right.
Before you go, you have to tell me about the haunted studio I have to work out of every day.
I will. I know, right? I was like, what? Somebody else is in here too? I didn't know you were in there too. That was like your place first,
the one
and then
back
I
in the
stole
corner.
it. Well, I wanted, the feel, right? And then later on, I was told it was true. There is a true feel there.
All right, here we go.
We're going on?
Yep.
Should I get over there?
Yes.
Okay.
You have headphones over there, right? Okay.
Indians call him Sasquatch. They believe he is as gentle as he is powerful and mysterious. He's been seen many times in the rugged mountains and deep woods of the Pacific Northwest. The encounters have not always been peaceful.
Uh-oh. There it is. There it is. Will Sasquatch Clark in the newsroom. How come the encounters have not always been peaceful, Will? Was somebody taking your donut?
Sometimes I don't get my caffeine in the morning.
Is that what it is?
I need that couple hours to kind of get with it.
Well, I'm super excited because we're bringing in our friend Connie Willis, who many of the listeners know her from. She co-hosts or fills in a lot on Coast to Coast AM. Mm-hmm. And welcome, Connie. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's
good to see you.
Good to be here with you guys.
So, I told you my first job in radio was babysitting Coast to Coast overnight.
Right.
And so like the first night I was there, I got no training. They just said you're going to watch the computer and listen to make sure nothing comes up. Now, the radio station that I worked at was in basically a trailer in the middle of the woods that was across from a prison where they had found a body in the parking lot a few days before. And the guy says,
wow.
Okay, there's a prison across the street. Somebody escaped. Here's a bar to protect yourself. Oh, and the station's haunted. See ya. And I'm in there the rest of the night listening to Art Bell. So that was awesome.
Where was that? That sounds like the first one I was at.
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. It was one of those little country radio stations you do. It's just like one of those little bitty in a town. So
what I did at WMGB.
Everybody has that story, right?
Yeah, right.
We all have that
exactly.
story. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So, but we hear you on Coast to Coast a couple times a month.
Thank you.
And you actually broadcast when you do out of the studio that I use for my show on WLAP every morning.
Yeah.
And apparently that room's haunted.
Yeah, well, at first I was coming in here, and it just seemed, in the middle of the night when you got this big window.
Yeah, it's a little,
and I was like, no, I don't want anybody.
You don't want Sasquatch looking through the window.
To me at 4:45 in the morning, exactly. So I said, and because of that show, you need setting. You need.
Yeah.
So I
need a spooky room.
And I didn't know it was your room, but I went back there and said, no, this is the room.
Well, it's not my fault it's spooky, just so you know.
The vibe is right. Yeah. No, I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it is a spooky room. I was doing a show there one night, and I felt something on my hoodie. Something touched my hoodie.
Really?
I was wearing a hoodie that night. Something tugged on my hoodie. And I said to the board op, who, by the way, when I do Coast to Coast, the board op is out in L.A.
Right.
And the board op is Nathan Staten, who used to work here.
No way.
Yeah.
Small world. That's
cool.
cool.
So I said, Nathan, I just felt something on my hoodie. And he said, what room are you in? And I told him what room I was in. And he said, Connie, is that right back where the train tracks are, right? Back
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
I said, yeah. And he said, That's haunted. They say that caught on fire at one point, and some lady died there.
No
So,
way.
And that's what I said. He said, no, seriously.
Well, that's great because I have to work out of it every morning. So thanks for that,
Yeah,
Connie.
right there in the middle of the night.
You also have a YouTube channel which we're on live right now.
Yeah, we are live on Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. We are live there right now, so you can watch myself and Leland. Yeah, wave to everybody. Yay!
Awesome. Well, I'm going to bring in Will Sasquatch Clark, who is in our newsroom, and people have been citing him all over town. People don't believe me that this guy has definitely got some Sasquatch in his lineage, but I thought, who better to figure this out than to bring in a Sasquatch expert to interview our Sasquatch. So y'all go at it here, and I'll just interject from time to time when I see fit, which
Okay.
is which is never proper, but I'll do it anyway. So.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Well, I pulled up like 10 questions to ask here.
All right, perfect.
So I'm hoping I can get through them all because I've kind of saved the best for last, right?
Okay,
But
all right.
I gotta kind of work up to it here. So, all right. So first of all, and this isn't even part of my questions, but I noticed you're a U of L fan, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Sasquatch and Bigfoot, yeah, UK or U of L fan? It's just a Kentucky thing to ask.
Sasquatch goes wherever there's a game.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Brilliant.
So, are there many of you, and this is going to determine if you're a Sasquatch or not, or it's in your lineage at all. Are there many of you, or is there just one that travels the world that everybody sees?
Oh, there's a handful that are Sasquatch size. Yeah, I'd say there's a handful. I wouldn't say that there's a large number of
It's
us.
like this is not how I picture Sasquatch talking, but it's like I'm watching it, so I know it's true. But it's like I normally would have thought you meant, but that's not happening. So
Yeah.
I have my beef jerky.
Well, actually, they would mind speak, so you wouldn't even hear the talks. It just didn't mind. So, okay, so many say that you have a really, really bad smell at times. Not all the time. Some smell.
yes, he
some
does.
Do not.
He does.
So-
I'm answering that for him.
Well, I mean, are you glad that sometimes you use dial or sometimes you don't? Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, you have to get the heavy duty stuff, because you're out there rolling around in the woods. Pine cones and stuff get stuck to you, kind of.
Charmin or no?
Yeah.
The Bears use Charmin. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, it works for them. I don't see why it wouldn't work for me.
Well, here's something that you kind of mentioned a second ago, but lots of Bigfooters, and these are the people that go out and research, they love to leave treats out for Sasquatches
We
like
clear
you.
on time.
And that's a
Good.
blessing, it's a gift, it's
We
a
good
kind of
on
a
time.
communication.
Mhm.
So be honest now, do you like the beef jerky or do you only do that because of pure contract sake?
Oh no, the beef jerky's good stuff. I'm all in.
That's not the
I love
No,
I love that Connie Willis wants to know if Sasquatch is just in it for the money.
Yeah, that's
I love that. That's
Yeah, if
awesome.
there was money to be had in eating beef jerky, I would need an agent.
You have one. You have one if you've got this deal. Okay, so
True.
Bigfoot are known to play pranks all the time, as seen on the jerky, beef jerky. It's real, it's true.
Yes.
But what is the biggest prank that you like to pull on people?
Wow.
Ooh, this is a
This
big
is good,
negative.
man. You made him think.
oh,
You
this
made
See,
him
a Bigfoot would
Sounds
know.
too much.
She obviously hasn't seen the video of me dumping the plastic balls from the newsroom on
the
your
basketball
head,
goal,
because I'm the
yeah.
one that's always playing pranks on you.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm usually the victim of the prank. I'm not. I
Messing with
That
Sasquatch.
messing with
don't.
Sasquatch.
Typically, Sasquatch is more responsible for a snarky tweet than a prank.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh, so he's a sad, geeky Sasquatch. So
A geeky squatch.
Totally different than getting back to you.
Social media squatch. I love that.
Social media Squatch. So, okay, some claim to have found Sasquatch scat. Poo-poo, okay? but most say that that's impossible. There's no way. It's not real. So I gotta ask you, why is this? Are you constantly constipated? I mean, can we help you?
No,
Why?
it's a common misconception. The Sasquatch is more civilized than that. There's always a porta-john available somewhere.
Ah, okay.
I love that question.
You're a fourth grader.
I know. But it's actually, it makes sense that, because, it makes sense because we're trying to figure out whether or not Sasquatch is of higher intelligence, which he is.
And I don't need to know. I don't even need to ask if you like doing number one in the woods because you are male, so that's. And women wish we could do the same. It's not
Oh
as easy.
God!
It's just
Oh
not-
God! That's awesome.
So now I've never heard of people giving beer or alcohol to any of these beings, but since you are claiming to be a Bigfoot, you know, how many beers does it take before you can take no more?
That's awesome.
That's a good question, because this Squatch doesn't drink.
Oh, really?
So I can't speak for other Squatches out there.
It would be kind of fun to get Sasquatch drunk though, around the campfire and see what happens.
Especially, you know, you gotta have.
It's just root
each
beer.
Squatch needs bourbon.
It's just root beer. Don't worry about that. It's just root beer.
Yeah. Okay, we would be the most famous, who would be the most famous Bigfoot of all to all humans? What is their name? This would really be very telling, very serious if you are a Sasquatch or not, because you would know who the most famous Sasquatch of all is, what it's named.
The most famous Sasquatch. Huh.
Blue's a recluse. He
I
just
know,
stays to
I know, he
himself,
just apparently-
social
I
media.
kind of
I think-
hang out in my own
I
little...
think he's from the Pacific Northwest family and got cut off.
Oh, well, then he would know. Then he would know that one. But maybe that's.
Come
the
on,
family
dude.
that cut him
There
off.
was a movie.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Am I really having to coach you?
He's so human. He's so human. I can't even say. Okay, all right. Well, that answer is Patty of the Patterson-Gimlin film, which just
Oh,
celebrated
yes.
50 years of that particular evidence ever being shot.
So I was thinking more like actual Hollywood celebrity.
See,
Not
that's
like-
why-
not like- not
No,
viral
it's
celebrity.
not that he's not a Sasquatch, it's that he's been too exposed to humans for too
He has
long.
been abandoned by his family.
Kind of like a reverse Jungle Book thing.
There you I love it.
Bigfoot has been seen with many different colors of
Uh-huh.
hair.
Yeah.
We're talking black, dark brown, reddish, white, even blonde Sasquatches.
Mhm.
Who does your color? And why have you chosen the color you've chosen?
I home color. It's cheaper. And I just go with the standard brown. I'm just kind of plain. I'm out there.
Yeah,
That is
no,
awesome.
Just the brunette look.
no streaks,
No.
yeah.
Because we don't want Squatch to get any salt and pepper gray at all. That's awesome. I love that.
Well, Bigfoot, they're known to have telepathy or what we call mind speak. That's what I was speaking before. Normally, there is a voice, and people will hear their names being called out, and they will hear howls and different things like that. However, usually they talk with mind speak. So if you're truly a Bigfoot, you can do this. So go ahead. I want you to ask me anything you'd like to, just between you and I, and let's just a second of silence while he asks me something. Go ahead and ask me something. How dare you! Gosh!
He's a man.
Sexual harassment! Oh,
I can't believe you did that.
typical man. Typical man. You guys.
What did you ask her?
Wow.
I don't-
I'm calling an attorney on this one. Attorney showing up?
Yeah, and it's on video too. That's the thing, man. I mean, we're on YouTube Live right now.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
So I don't know if I can go on, but.
All right.
All right.
So Sasquatch has never been seen with clothes on. So why do you choose to go commando?
That's more comfortable.
Yeah.
You have that much hair. You try to add pants to that. There's the sweating. You get the odor. It's not good.
A little talcum powder, a little.
Yeah, there's chafing.
baby
It's
powder.
probably not.
These are great questions. Now, see, you see why we called in a professional to do this? You see why?
Because you couldn't have handled
There's
it.
no way I couldn't have got through it.
The hair in the zipper was hilarious. Alright, so, okay, last question.
Okay.
Is it true what they say about foot size? And is it equivalent to you? Because Terry Miners has got the biggest foot I've ever seen, by the way, and he shows it. He was just in here a minute ago.
This show is already
true?
off the rails.
I
Go ahead
think
and answer it.
We'll leave that to the imagination.
Oh my god! Just like we left him off camera.
Bigfoot would be around going,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. You're killing me. You're killing me, Squatch.
Ugh.
We have too humanized you.
Yeah, he's
That's part of the problem.
from the looks, I think genetically, I think you're right. I think there's some lineage
Something-
going on there.
something
There's
in there,
something
right.
happening. However, yeah, he's humanized. He's yeah,
He's a humanized squat.
This is on Yukon.
All right, Connie, can do we have time to let her? Can we get her one more segment with her? Okay, we've got to get a commercial break in, but I want to hang around because I actually want to ask you,
Sure.
in all seriousness,
Sure.
I'm in the camp that says anything is possible.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you what's possible in Kentucky.
Absolutely.
So all right, we love it. Connie Willis is with us. Blue Rock Talk, is that right? Your YouTube
Rock
channel.
Talk with Connie Willis.
And coast to coast as well. We'll continue on News Radio 840 WHAS. That was awesome. That was great. Good job, both of you.
What?
The funniest one. I loved it. You're like the silence question. You're like, that was awesome. Oh.
Hey, fan, you are big. Oh my gosh.
Am I telling
On
you?
the channel.
Am I telling you?
This is Squatch Man. Let me see if let me make sure I get you on the shot here so everybody sees you.
That's awesome.
Look, okay, I'm like
Shot comes
5'3"
to
or
right here.
4. What are you?
6'8".
6'8", and you're not playing ball, man. What's going on?
He's got a couple of years of eligibility
I
left.
probably do. I just don't have any coordination to go with it.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
That's awesome.
Thank you.
We'll
Sasquatch
probably.
has left the building.
What do we have? Like, how many minutes will we have?
Leland Conway, right here.
Okay, so we'll probably have like 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I hate that we're.
Bummer.
God, I hate commercials.
Yeah, I know.
But that was just way too good to interrupt.
I know,
That was
right?
too much
I'm
fun.
glad that we
But
got that.
we'll also do a podcast of this, and I'll send you a link so you can put it up and all that.
In all your description, can you put Blue Rock? Can you
Yeah,
subscribe?
if that's your main thing, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I tell you what, send me an email to leland@whas.com
I'll do that right now.
and just put the link in there and that kind of stuff, so I can just do that when I throw it out there.
Trustworthy HVAC company in town. We have one. When you find someone that can cut your hair, keep them, or her. When you find someone that can fix your car, keep them. When you find a good HVAC company, call them. 561-0011. Trusted by Home Depot exclusively in Louisville, Lexington, and E-Town, and the new Costco on Bardstown Road.
I'm gonna
So
give
if
you
go
every
through
one of my
those
links.
stores, AirServe will
Cool.
be your contractor. More product options, more financing options, and always honest and upfront all the time. 561-0011 AirServe.
There's actually only gonna be like a minute and a half. I don't know if you want to
Oh,
keep
man,
it for a
that's
little
it.
bit.
I don't mind to
Top of the
keep it
hour.
over if we can, just
I'm
because.
fine with that.
Okay, we've
Cool.
got the Terry Miners thing, but let's do this. Let's keep her over and do a short segment, 4 or 5 minutes,
Okay.
with her at the open of the 10 o'clock hour.
Do something here to kind of tease what you're going to do next.
Exactly. Yeah,
then
and we'll
do
bring
that.
her into it, but for a minute and a half, we'll tease what's coming up. We'll do 4 or 5 minute segment with her, and then we'll drop in the Terry Miners thing.
Okay, do we have that audio yet?
Terry said he sent it to us. Yeah, it's right here. Let me forward it to you.
Cool.
So I'll tease that too.
All right. Hey, what's going on? Boomer sooner, huh?
All right, so that's what we'll do is we'll kind of do a quick back and forth, and then I'm going to keep you to the 10:05 segment, and we'll do about a 5-minute segment there, and then we'll let you go. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah.
That just gives us a little bit of more time to.
Okay. Where do I email you?
Leland@WHAS.com.
Okay. Leland, WHAS. I'm gonna give you all my links, and then you're set. You're gonna go, holy cow, that's too many. But it's a little quickie about my everything you need to know.
No worries. I'll hit the highlights in the social media so people don't get overwhelmed. But
Okay, well, I've got it all. You know, nowadays you gotta have everything: Instagram, Twitter, this, that, and this.
Yes.
Everything. And so that's all of it.
are you on Instagram?
I am.
What's your thing? And I'll follow you on it.
It's I'm under Blue Rock Talk and another one is Connie Willis. So I do them both. And that's what's a pain too. You start getting all these you gotta do. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't quit. Why would you stop?
Okay, so we're gonna do a quick segment and then.
Yeah, just to kind of preview.
Okay.
All right, I just followed you, so you better follow me back.
Okay. I'm never on Instagram. I mean, I do something where it sends stuff on. So hey, Blue Rockers, that's my fans. They're called Blue Rockers and subscribers. So Blue Rockers, Leland is going to be a new Blue Rocker as soon as he subscribes to the YouTube channel. And we are live on 840 WHAS. This is like the AM station here. This is the one that's been known for years and years and years and years.
I was
And a
able
lot
to
of you can even
capture
hear it
the
in
audio
Florida.
of the question that Sasquatch asked her telepathically, and I have that audio.
Oh, this is good.
Oh,
That'll
great.
be good.
So I hope you guys can listen as well. You know, you don't have to be local to hear it. Go on the internet to 840 WHAS, but you can hear it here as well. I'm not sure if you can hear what's in our headphones or not. But thank you guys for being here. Please remember, whoever can record for me all the comments, that'll be great. But I'm hoping you guys can hear everything and it's all going well.
So we're gonna finish and go another segment over here, all right? So hope you guys enjoy. I told you there's always treats here on Blue Rock Talk. I'm doing okay, but it's kind of ugly looking, isn't it? All right, so Leland Conway over here. Sasquatch has left the building.
I just followed Connie on Instagram. You should too.
Yay. Subscribe to me, Blue Rockers.
You're back.
News Radio 840 WHAS. We have Connie Willis in studio. She fills in on Coast to Coast a couple times a month. She also has her own YouTube channel, Blue Rock Talk, and is an expert on all things Bigfoot. She's in the studio with us. We just interviewed Bigfoot. We're going to throw a podcast of this up a little bit later, right? Right, Dave? Okay. Because Bigfoot has telepathic powers. Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead.
That was it.
That was it? You concur? Is that why you said you wanted to talk to a lawyer?
How dare you? Exactly. That was it. You got it. That's amazing equipment. We need that.
Connie, we're going to talk to you about the Sasquatch, because you say that there could potentially be some here in the state of Kentucky.
Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. Once
Okay.
you experience them,
Have you
know
seen one?
immediately. Well, that's a kind of another story. I don't know how much time we have right now.
We're going to have a
That's
couple
story.
minutes in a minute, all right? So hang tight. So Connie Willis will tell us about Sasquatch in the Bluegrass State coming up. Also, Terry Miners talked with Rick Pitino's lawyer. That's coming up next hour as well. So we'll drop that audio for you as well. All of it's coming up. And the governor may stop by. News Radio 840 WHAS.
Cool, yeah. So you'll have to let me know how much time, so I'll try to be quick.
We will. We'll have about. What do you think? Go about 5 minutes in that segment. So we'll have 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, I'll try to make it fast.
Whatever you want to do, we have plenty of time.
But the story will take. If you got more questions, you should do that because the story does take a little time.
Sure.
Because all stories do, right? But see, that's how radio works. It's a constant time thing, you know. And you're so good when you've done radio for a long time. You pretty much know what time of the day it is down to the second, because that's how you work, second by second. It's not minute by minute, it's not hour by hour, like 9 to 5ers is more like hour by hour. We are second to second, and we're pretty precise about it. So we get a little, weird about time. We understand time.
People who've been doing this a long, long time have clocks in their head.
Yeah, we have clocks in our head, totally. We know what time it is. You can't mess with us on time. We can mess with you on time. And we might choose to do that. Yeah, I think I've met Will. Will, right, Sasquatch. I've met him.
If you want dental coverage, good news. You can now get a great dental plan on your own without even working for an employer. Call 1-844-KY-DELTA for both individuals and families with no waiting periods or age restrictions. Implants, veneers, and even teeth whitening covered in some plans. Call 1-844-KY-DELTA. That's 1-844-KY-DELTA.
All right, I'm gonna tag you on social here.
Or online
Okay,
at
cool.
KentuckyDelta.com.
Did you subscribe to Blue Rock Talk?
I haven't yet.
That's your biggest one. That's the biggest one to do.
About LASIK for years. You've heard how LASIK can be a life changer, and now there's never been a better time to see if LASIK is right for you.
Now John out here is a Blue Rocker.
Custom LASIK has advanced
The Starkey?
Yeah,
technology and
he might be watching. He should be watching it out there.
Put this off for years, but it was over in seconds, and within 24 hours, I had better than 20/20 vision.
A beautiful facility and the latest technology. Johnny LASIK's changed my
See
life.
what it looks like here for so long.
pain-free
We are.
affordable LASIK. Jockey LASIK can correct.
See, that's the thing is, I'm so slow with social media. I'm trying to.
Oh, there's great comments on here. Let's see. Hi, Connie. Squatchman is shy. Squatchman is shy. Hi.
That's what we wanted.
I want to see Sam Squatch. Let's see. Good questions. Haha, who's your comedy writer? Who stumped the imposter? Awesome, humorous questions. Must tell Leland secret hand signal. Oh yeah, my secret hand signal. The Blue Rocker hand signal.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Backwards.
Louisville, an iHeart radio station.
Backward
An
Spock.
arraignment for the alleged attacker of Rand Paul. It's 10 o'clock.
That
Good
story is so
morning, I'm
weird.
Paul Miles.
Yeah, what
News
happened?
Radio 840 WHAS.
Allegedly,
That story in 1 minute. First
the
traffic and
neighbor
weather.
bum tackled him from behind while he's mowing his yard with his headphones on.
Bum tackled him. What do you mean?
Yeah, they come up behind, when he's not looking.
Oh,
Just
is he
head
trying
to
to
the
rape him?
ribs.
What's going on?
No, head to the ribs.
What? Somebody nailed him?
Yeah.
Just why he's got
Broke
ribs?
6 of his ribs. He has that like fluid
I'm
on his
WLKY
lungs.
meteorologist Matt Milosevic with your Thursday
Well,
forecast. A
that's
chilly
what they're
start.
trying to
As
figure
Rush
out.
would say,
Temperatures
live
in the 30s.
That's what they're
With
trying
the
to figure
sunshine
out.
That's
this afternoon,
terrible.
Passing clouds do push our temperatures milder, highs near 58.
Alright, let's throw this
Lows
on
will be cold
Twitter,
tonight
too.
down to 33. We'll keep
Oh,
it very
excellent.
chilly
Great.
Friday. Plenty of sunshine, but highs only near 42. We're back to 50 and partly cloudy to start the weekend Saturday. At your WLKY forecast, I'm Matt Milosevic. It's sunny and
That it
40 at
doesn't-
News
there we
Radio
go.
840 WHAS. Our top story. The man accused of attacking
There's so
Senator
many
Rand Paul
monitors
went
in the
before a
way.
judge this morning.
Do you, I know, it's,
Oh, you see some monsters?
we need to be able to hang,
Yeah.
you know, it would be cool if we could hang video.
And these are like old time
Is
monitors.
Blue Rock
too,
Talk
right?
on Twitter as well?
Yep, yep. I'm on all of them. It's even on Steaming.
There it is. Okay, I found it.
Hoping that helps you to see a little better. Hey, you guys, what's going on, Blue Rockers? I had a little Batman feather on my microphone, so thanks you guys for being here and being a part of it. Always fun, right? You never know what's going to happen. Earth's most interesting conversation, people, places, and things. This is one of the big stations that, as well, not only are legends here, and we got Leland right behind us, but a lot of people that are in the big iHeartMedia positions and Premier Syndicate positions are from Louisville. Some of them work right here working too. So in the radio world, this is a big deal.
While there are areas of disagreement between
I
China
believe all the
and the
people
US,
that came out of Louisville
North
that are
Korea
big
is
wigs.
not
I know, there's a lot of connections.
Museum
Yeah.
is embarking on a $6.5 billion expansion and renovation. It will include
I got that.
11,000 square feet.
See, it's taking me all this break just to do social media.
Oh, I know it. It kills me. I'm doing it all the time. Everybody thinks it's quick and
Last
fast.
year, we were up
But it's
5.6%. We had over 230,000 visitors to the Kentucky Derby Museum.
Construction will begin after next year's Derby and is expected to be completed by November. It's back to the drawing board for West Clark Community Schools in southern Indiana after a $95 billion referendum fails. Here's Will Clark.
The referendum would have funded construction on 3 campuses in the district. The sticking point for many voters, the tax increase to pay for
The
it.
guy that just walked by is Mark
And
Starr. He does
says the
production.
district has
He's a
bonding
friend,
options for the next
and you
year that
guys
will allow them to spend $5 million
locally have
on each school
heard his
without
voice for
voter
sure.
approval.
And
It tells
some of you
them
guys
what they
in
want.
other places have probably heard his voice too, because that's how radio works. They used to pay you when you did voice work that went somewhere else. Now they don't. They just think it's fun for us.
Referendum on the ballot.
Sorry, that's a sarcastic remark from a radio person.
Will Clark, News Radio 840 WHAS.
Hey, can we do a podcast for Connie of the whole strung together? Is that possible? And then when you get the link done, I'll send that out on social media for her and then to her.
I'll just post it to our podcast page and then link to that. Is that what you want to do? Okay.
Yeah, just post it to our podcast page. I'll grab the link and send it out.
There you go, subscribe. Oh, that's my
Breast
Facebook.
cancer occurred for 40% of women in that group.
Alright.
Bond actress Karen Dorr has died.
Bond fans will remember her as Helga Brandt.
Do you want that picture we took?
Yeah, I'll do it tonight, okay.
Uh-huh.
Usually I
I
have
think so.
contacts on and.
Is that okay?
Well, enjoy yourself.
Is it all right? Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Alright,
that'd be good.
what's your
I'll,
phone
post
number?
it
What's
too.
your cell and I'll,
I'm gonna give it to
Actually,
you, so I don't have to
I'm
give it to the world.
spy.
yeah. Yeah. I forgot we're alive.
I know, right? Here, you know what? You can type it in.
Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Boring Desk.
Your next news update coming up at 10:30. I'm Paul Miles.
Here we go.
News Radio 840 WHAS, Kentuckiana's breaking news, weather, and
I'll
traffic
get to you in a minute.
station.
Shot at $1,000 now. Text the word luck.
Yeah, can you get a copy of the show for me too?
News Radio 840 WHAS. I'm Leland Conway. We are hanging with the great Connie Willis of Blue Rock Talk. Talking Bigfoot in the bluegrass. Hey, we've got Terry Miners just spoke with the lawyer for Rick Pitino. We're going to have that audio for you coming up here in just a few minutes. Also, word that the governor may be able to stop by sometime this hour or early next hour, so we'll chat with him, hopefully. Lots to get to on that. News Radio 840 WHAS, phone number 345-1140. Oh, I said the wrong number, didn't I? 571-8484. It happens. It gets in our head. Thanks, Dave. All right, so Connie Willis, we just had you interview our very own Bigfoot, and you pronounced that there has to be something in his lineage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not quite, but
he's
he's
got
been
it.
humanized. But in all seriousness, though, there's a lot of people that believe there's some things out in the woods here in Kentucky. And we got a lot of woods, probably a lot more than we think. All right, so you're holding. Hold on, I got to take a picture of that.
Yeah.
You're holding up, and I'll post this on Facebook for everybody. You're holding up an actual cast of a footprint.
Yeah.
Where was that found?
I don't know where that one was. A lot of people give them to me and take a look at this as
How
well.
do you
I know
verify?
it's in the radio, which is hard.
How do you? Well, that's all right. That's why social
That's
media.
a knuckle right there. Those are knuckles right there. Those are cool castings when people get knuckles. Because look at the size of that.
I know,
hand.
it's huge.
Isn't that amazing? So they are real. I mean, I've studied a lot of things. Grew up in a haunted house. Okay, so that's usually where it starts with a lot of people. From there, you start getting a little deeper if you decide to try to figure out what these things are, because I think they connect. You know, we're talking UFOs, aliens, different things like that. And I never ever thought about the Bigfoot. And here I grew up here in Louisville with a haunted house, not even realizing Waverly was even here, but heard about the Goat Man and Pope Lick Monster and things like that growing up, right? And the Trestles and things like that. But I never really thought about it. And then I moved away for 25 years, and then getting into the world of paranormal and doing a lot of television work. You know, I wanted to kind of follow my passion of putting television and what I loved, and that was paranormal stuff. So I ended up getting into working with the people from the Poltergeist movie about pulling content together, and I met some Bigfoot people. Never thought about Bigfoot people at all, and then they let me go with them on Bigfoot searches. And
Did you do any out west?
And it's real. My very first ones were in Alabama.
Okay.
And then I started learning that there's more in Kentucky than, like, they're all over Kentucky and Indiana, and they're everywhere. But yeah, I did go out in the Pacific Northwest.
So let's ask the obvious question.
Yeah.
And that is, why do we never see them? My hobby is hiking, and I'm out in the woods almost every weekend for some period of time.
Yeah.
Why do I never come across them? And I go to some pretty wild places in the state. I've been out west throughout the wilderness, and I color myself skeptical but open-minded.
Yeah.
So why have I never seen any evidence myself?
Well, you probably weren't looking yet or didn't know to look, because once you know that they're out there, you can start kind of looking for certain things. There's structures that you will see that they do with trees and limbs and branches, and you'll also see the footprints when it's available to see. I mean, think about it. When you go out in the woods, there's so much foliage, you can't even see your own footprint.
Right.
It's got to be just perfect where it's kind of wet or muddy or whatever, and then you can see a print. And it's got to be just perfect to get a full print, because there's got to be a muddy spot there, right? Something wet. But mostly you'll see twigs and foliage, so you're not going to see these unless you're one of these great trackers that can see it. But when you do, and you see a size like the sizes I've seen out there, you are just going, holy cow, there's a monster.
What about a body or bones or DNA?
There's people that say that they have that kind of stuff. I'm not saying they don't. I don't know. You know, I do my own research, and I've, of course, being on Coast and Blue Rock Talk, I interview people all the time. I do something called Bigfoot Friday.
How do you tell? Here's a question for you. How do you tell when somebody's BSing you? Like even I think that there are people, as I've watched these shows, and I'm like, okay, I don't know that I believe in what they're saying, but I believe they think they saw it, right? And you can tell. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can tell when somebody's being sincere, and I'm like, they saw something. They can't quite explain it. They're trying to put a thing to it, but they saw something. Then there's other people. I'm like, their eyes are shifty. So how do you tell? How do you spot the BSer from the real deal?
Well, it's pretty consistent when people see things of how they feel, what they think, what goes through their mind, and what they actually see. So there's a lot of consistencies and things like that. But you can tell more so because it takes courage to actually tell someone you saw one. Because you're gonna, when you see one, I don't care how brave you think you are, you're scared out of your mind because it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be.
You know how we hikers like to leave no trace?
Yeah.
If I see one, I'm gonna leave a trace. Right there. Right there.
And that's where the smell comes
Yeah,
from.
right
Not
there.
the sound
That's
part.
that's right there. That's a trace.
It's Leland.
So okay, but in all seriousness, though, where should I look? Because because I hike a lot in Kentucky, and I think
Where do you go?
well, I like the Red River Gorge.
Okay, cool.
Love the Mammoth Cave area. It's got tons
Oh
of
my
trails.
Gosh, they're very well known for that. They're
Okay.
known for a big portal, in fact.
All right, so are those places I might see one?
Bernheim
What's a portal?
Forest,
What is a portal?
apparently, and I don't know about portal. That's new to me still. But
Okay.
apparently, portals are where you can, where creatures come out, not just Bigfoot, but pterodactyls,
So, like-
cyclops, all sorts of things.
Wait a minute.
But
So I
that's
could go
in
through.
time.
I could go through a portal and come out in Mammoth Cave and come out in Red River Gorge.
Well, they say that if a human goes through a portal, they might not be able to come back
Won't
out.
make it. It's like that episode of Big Bang Theory when he did the fake. Did you ever see that?
No.
When Raj and
I'm
Howard.
not searching. Man.
Oh, Raj and
I'm
Howard, they
searching.
wanted to know what Sheldon was doing down in the basement room all the time. So he put a fake video of him going through a portal and getting attacked by an alien.
Cool.
It was pretty cool. All right, so I've got a couple of minutes here. The governor's going to call in at 10:20.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So I want to know if you've ever seen anything like that you can attest to and say, yes, I believe Bigfoot is in Kentucky and here's why.
Well, my very first interactions were actually in Alabama, but I have seen evidence here in Kentucky and Kentuckiana as well. I mean, Bernheim Forest, there's something as well not too far from here in Indiana. I don't want to give everybody's hot spots away, because
Right.
I don't want people going in there. We are no kill. People are no
Yeah, please
kill.
don't kill the Sasquatch if you see it.
Don't do it.
We
you
need
know,
Will to
or
do
don't
the
try,
news.
You know? That's right.
That's my biggest fear is that a redneck would find him and shoot him.
Yeah. I
Come
don't
on.
know that it's possible, because I actually think they're interdimensional in some way. Whatever they are, they're not like you and I.
Right.
And that's a big fight in the Bigfoot world. There's people that are kill or no kill, and then there's other people that think they're flesh and blood, and other people think they are some sort of spiritual kind of creature.
Right.
So you've got a lot of fighting amongst the group, but everybody will say they're real.
Okay, so what did you see?
So what happened with me was the very first night that I was in Alabama, the very first night I ever went. I just heard all these stories about him, and I was interviewing people, kind of doing a documentary type thing. And I didn't even expect to experience anything, but we went where they believed there were two different tribes of them. I thought, oh, this is cool. We got in a camper. You know those campers that sit like this?
Yeah.
Well, apparently those campers are and these are it's those pull campers, and where they slide out.
You're talking about the
on both
pop-ups?
sides.
Yeah, the
Pop-up,
pop-up
and there's
campers,
two
yeah.
beds on both sides.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Well, apparently those are known to be rocked by Bigfoot. Now, nobody told me that,
Mhm.
right? So, in the next morning when I'm telling my story of what happened, I was saying, oh my gosh, I got rocked. And
Producer Dave said he doesn't think that's why they're rocking.
Blue rockers.
I'm
Funny. I didn't even think that way.
sorry.
Funny.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, as I know.
That's funny.
Go
That's
ahead.
funny.
But
But like the next day from all this, I'm telling people things that they all said, Connie, we know you had an experience because you're telling us things that happen consistently that you knew nothing about. And one of them is those types of campers get
so it rocked your camper in the
So
middle of the night?
It was rocked 4 times. It was about, let's see, we had hours of driving, hours of clearing out a spot, finally getting to camping area. It's about, I think, 2:45 in the morning. And you're exhausted at that point, right? Well, I'm just falling asleep, and all of a sudden, and great stories come after someone says all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah, all of a
right?
sudden, yeah.
All of a sudden, I wake up. I'm curled up in a little ball on my left side, and I wake up, and I realize to myself, why am I wide awake? And every cell in my body is not only awake, but it feels good. It should be groggy. I, just
you're-
fell asleep, right?
Yeah.
I was wide awake, and there was a rock underneath. And I said, what is that? No, maybe I'm really sleeping. It rocked again, and I went, holy cow, is that the person on the other side of the tent over there? And I was going to slowly try to, because I knew something was not right. So I was going to try to slowly kind of roll over and look over the other side. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's rocking on one side. What if it rocks on another? And it rocked on another side.
Are you sure it wasn't a bear?
Well, there was no sound, absolutely no sound. And it was foliage everywhere. There were twigs, there were branches, there were leaves. We made a clearing in the woods, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so no sound whatsoever.
Fascinating.
It was rocked 4 different times from 2 different locations, maybe 3 different locations now. But they had said to me, something, mind speak. I experienced mind speak. And it had let me know that I could unzip that piece on the tent right then and there and to one of those windows and see what was outside. And here, this is my first time ever out. People go for 20 years and never see one at all.
So did you see it?
Well,
I got 30 seconds here.
I was, remembered all the King Kong films when I was a kid. live seeing them in the drive-in in black and white, and I said, you know what, I'm not ready yet. This is what I said in my head.
Right.
I didn't even know I was having a conversation.
So you didn't want to
And it
see what
said-
was out there.
And this thing says, isn't this what you came for? And I said, I understand, I'm not ready yet. And it kind of said, okay, let me loose, and then I heard it over there by someone else's camper lifting up stuff, and it was pretty amazing. They talk
Fascinating.
to you. They're real.
All right, how can people follow you on YouTube?
Tell them to go to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. Get that whole thing in there. Please subscribe and hit the notification. We talk about Bigfoot and aliens and UFOs. It's Earth's most interesting conversations.
I like that.
So crypto.
Blue
as
Rock
well,
Talk.
talk
That
about
makes sense.
Cryptocurrency.
Love
That's
it.
right.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Sure. Thank
All
you.
right, we
This was
appreciate
fun.
you. Yeah, it was. And thanks for having fun with Will Clark on us. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely. And Coast to Coast, November 25th, New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks, Connie Willis. You hear her on Coast to Coast every. What time does that come on here? Is it
1
midnight?
a.m.
Is it 1 a.m.?
Gosh, holy cow, yeah.
Awesome.
It's
All
next day.
right. Thanks, Connie. Governor Matt Bevin is up next. News Radio 840 WHAS. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you. That was fun.
We will.
I miss it. I love going on all the time.
We will throw that up on the podcast, and I'll shoot you a link to that.
Cool.
So.
Excellent. Thanks. Yeah, if you ever want to do something, let me know, because I love doing it. I miss it. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I can
Well,
do
we've
that.
got your contact digits now,
Yeah.
so.
And listen, if you want to go, let me know. We go out.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It's real.
Might have to take you up on
They're
that
real.
sometime.
They're real. And what you want to do is you want to go when people have a hot spot. You want to go to people's hot spots.
Right.
You already know they're there.
Right.
You're not out there looking. The Mammoth Cave is full of them.
Well, you know, one thing that I always tell people is. Getting text on this, that's great. One of these things that I always tell people is that
I'm Dave Jennings with the Leland
you don't
Conway
really know what
Show.
wilderness
I've
is
lots
until you've
of
been out
Boston in
west.
the heart of St. Matthews.
And so it's super
Leland, I had
arrogant of
lunch
us to
yesterday
think that we
while I
know
was
everything
waiting
about
for
what
the-
happens out there.
Right.
There's a
That's
type
right.
of I was hiking one time in Arizona behind my house at the time, and I came across a cotamundi. A cotamundi is a ringtail cat, and
They're in Arizona.
I grew up on close to the Mexican border on the Tohono Indian Nation. My parents are missionaries.
Okay,
So-
there's tons of stuff that happens in Arizona.
It's it's interesting.
It is.
Anyway,
It is.
the cotamundi came across my path. It's a ringtailed cat that lives in that part of the desert, but it's extraordinarily rare. And almost no one ever sees it. But it's a very specific. I mean, it literally looks like a domestic cat with a raccoon tail that's blown out about 5 times too big.
Okay.
And so it's you know when you see it, but it's like so freaking rare. And I'm just out there in hiking through the middle of the desert, and it comes across. And so it's just this thing that we sort of know it exists because, they see them every now and then, but it's so rare, So it's like, it's kind of arrogant to think that we know everything,
Thank
So.
you.
Hey, good job.
Thanks. That was fun.
Vail Gale, LMPD, he said 100% Bigfoot's real, but he's from Australia, so.
Okay, what do they call him there?
I gotta ask him.
I love what you did with that. That was great.
Which one?
With the
Grown man naked?
That
Yeah.
was excellent. That was
Cool.
perfect. That was perfect.
So if these are
Can you give me a
really-
copy of all this stuff?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
If these are super intelligent creatures, how come that there's not like one mentally ill one that like wanders into town? What's
I
up?
think there might be. That's the problem. That's why
Wait,
he's
we
nice.
always mistake them as humans, but that's why they're actually Bigfoot.
Is that Will? He's here. He works for you guys.
All right, I'm asking him what they call them in Australia.
Oh yeah. That might be. They might call them.
You ever watch Josh Gates' stuff?
Yeah.
He's been on the show before.
Yeah. He has.
Yeah, right before that Expedition Unknown came out, right before that show actually started, he was on with me.
Oh, okay.
I think he's a great entertainer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna be quiet about the insides. That's what makes me go. It's terrible when you start learning all the insides.
Right,
And
right.
you're like, I just don't want to work with you. Right.
Well, this business is full of people that are really kind of.
Isn't that amazing?
That
How
is
big
crazy.
that is.
So that's the
a
knuckles?
hand. Yeah, just probably was rusty.
Maybe
or
I'm really
something.
into Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know. You got a big hand. You got a big hand.
That's weird.
Yeah.
How do you know that's his?
It's like maybe it was rusty, like maybe sitting back or something, and maybe one hand was in a muddy area.
Where were they found?
I don't remember. This was Pacific Northwest, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? I was talking to those folks out there. I said, The ones out here, they must be bigger and meaner, and they laughed and they said, well, that's what we think about the ones where you all are. I'm like, no, we're in the South, they're nicer.
Yeah, they must be friendly.
I'd rather meet them in the woods instead of your alls, and they're like, oh no, we feel the opposite. And I thought that was kind of funny.
Our team of financial
I wouldn't have thought that.
created one just for you. It's designed to help ensure you're able to live the way you want today while setting yourself up for a secure and sustainable lifestyle tomorrow. Advisory services offered through Simply.
So there you are, Blue Rockers.
What's the,
Thanks
hey,
for
what's
being a part of
the
this.
what's the call in for the governor?
Is available upon request.
So they're doing some work there. So thanks you guys for being a part of the show. If somebody can hit the record all the comments, that'd be great for me. I appreciate that. But
All right,
thanks for
there you
being a
go.
part of Blue Rock Talk today with 840 WHAS and the Leland Conway Show. And you don't
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming into our studio today.
Yeah, and you don't have to be local.
We
to-
love
to-
Connie.
Thanks. You don't have to, nowadays you can listen to the local guys all over. So make sure it's the Leland Conway Show. So make sure you also subscribe to him and find his material too, okay? Eventually I'll put it all down in the subscriptions below, the description below. Send me all your stuff back and I'll put it down. All right? Bye, everybody. You're going to see me kind of tearing things down. So I'm going to say bye now because he's about to go live. Apparently Rand Paul, who was a Kentuckian, got jumped. So that's a big deal. And as you guys all know, with our basketball team, U of L, I'm a UK fan. I'm a UK graduate, but U of L people dealing with Patino. So, and you guys in sports would know what's going on. So anyway, I'm going to say bye, but I'm going to keep it rolling until I turn it off. So.
That's more than TV, Facebook, and Google. Put that in your dragon and smoke it. Radio reaches more adults, teens, and even millennials. So if you're a marketer, get the most of your marketing dollar. Talk to the folks who dethroned TV. Go to iHeartMedia.com for the one place you can reach everybody. AM, FM, radio.
From the United Dynamics Foundation Repair and Waterproofing Weather Center.
All right, we will. If the governor's governor's supposed to call, but you want to just drop the Patino stuff in here because he hasn't called yet. I gave him the number.
The dinner is 11 minutes.
Oh, it is. We're gonna have to do it at 35.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll call here, and we might have 3 minutes with the governor. So.
If not, you can talk Bigfoot.
Tires on cars since 1926. They know when the road gets rough, you need a set of tires that can get tough. Get $60 on Firestone Visa prepaid card by mail when you purchase a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Kentucky football takes on Vanderbilt. Coverage begins Saturday at 2 on News Radio 840 WHAS.
News Radio 840 WHAS. All right, we had rescheduled the governor for right here, and we're still waiting on that call to come in. So we'll see if we can get a hold of him. And coming up at 10:35, we're going to air a conversation that Terry Miners had with the lawyer for Rick Pitino. Is there, there was news last night from, actually it was on NBC where they had updated some of what took place with the indictments. And NBC News' Tom Winter tweeted out that the indictments unsealed in the NCAA fraud and bribery case allege that Rick Pitino, aka Coach 2, had knowledge of and directed payments to players. So that is why I think a lot of people are very interested to hear what his lawyer has to say, because here's the thing. They don't have tape of this. You remember we were talking about this early on. They do not have tape of, they don't have, as far as I know, I mean I'm not in the FBI, but it's my understanding based on media reports that I saw earlier that they do not have audio tape. Like they had wiretapped a bunch of guys' phones, but they don't have tape of I don't think they have tape unless there's something that we don't know of Pitino actually saying that, but it's alleged. So you have a guy saying that, you have somebody alleging that Pitino did this, that he knew and that he directed payments. Yes. Well, and isn't that what I said at the very beginning? Did I not say that what was going to happen here is everybody that's involved in this is going to be terrified right now because you get those first guys, those executives or whatever, and everything's on the line for them. They get indicted. They're going to flip. They're going to talk. That's how the FBI works. So they're going to flip these guys, and it sounds like maybe that's what's being done. But you still have to prove it, and that's going to be the question. So I guess we will hear from Coach's lawyer. Yeah, yeah. See, I'm fascinated by this whole story because, I mean, the vehemence with which Patino proclaims that he has not, you understand what I'm saying, that he had no knowledge that this was going on, it's pretty intense how vehement